generally speaking, I do not do a lot of award topics. I always feel like when you see that college football writer in week 3 doing a Heisman column, not very original, run out of ideas. But the MVP of the NBA this year is interesting for 2 reasons. Number one, Jokic for the Nuggets has a chance to win it 3rd year in a row. That doesn't happen very often, only to the all-time greats. And he's not real verbal. He doesn't talk a lot. He's not real flashy. And the second reason it's interesting is the guy he's vying with, Embiid, is fun, is verbal, is flashy, isn't a big market, is a huge personality. And a lot of people think it's his turn. And the NBA has a history of voting MVP who they think the better story is. Russell Westbrook got an MVP. We know he's not the most valuable player in the league, but it was a good story. Durant left him. He got him to the playoffs. But last night they were supposed to play. But Embiid, little dinged up, sore calf, says, I'm out. Or maybe the Sixers said, he's out. Or maybe Doc said, Joel's out. Whatever it is, to me, the MVP officially goes to Jokic now in Denver. But when Jalen Hurts and Mahomes were tied down the stretch, big most valuable player race, Jalen Hurts got dinged up, missed a couple of games. You say, well, it's not his fault. Nobody said it is, but it is his reality. Embiid has played 61 games. Jokic has played 67. Their numbers are both great. They're powerful, big, unique players. But last night was one of the handful of regular season games that mattered, and this is a regular season award. That's what it is. I'll give you a little flash. I'll give you a little personality. You can use that in your voting, but you got to be able to show up in a big regular season game. After the game where Embiid no-showed and Jokic did what Jokic always does, shows up and dominates, and he did, and Denver won, and they remain a number 1 seed in the West, which I don't think is the be-all, end-all for it. You don't have to be the number 1 seed, but you got to show up for this game. You got to be available. Jokic went to Philly last time they played. Time for Embiid to play. Embiid, apparently, Doc Rivers came out, and he sort of proves our point on this. Doc Rivers came out and said it was an easy decision for us. Everybody wants to see these 2 guys play against each other, but we're going to be slow and smart. We want to get him and the whole team healthy for the playoffs. So last night, the Sixers chose the playoffs over a really interesting regular season game. And it's a regular season award. Sorry, nobody said it's Embiid's fault. It's Embiid's reality. He doesn't play a lot of games. Jokic plays more. Last night, another triple-double. Another win. Denver won. We all know that regular season NBA games are not equal. I've said this before. There's 10 to 12 regular season games. There was a Celtic-Laker game in Boston earlier this year that got a big number. You know, you'll see the occasional Celtics playing the Warriors, rematch of the finals, or you'll see a Milwaukee playing the Celtics, the 2 big powers in the East. About 10 of those a year in the regular season. And they matter. And they matter more. And they matter to the league, to its branding, to its television partners, and to its consumers. And so it's a regular season award. The Sixers, in a very tight race, chose a playoff agenda. They may end up being the smarter team. But the MVP is not about smart or anything. It's about being available in the regular season and dominating. Jokic last night, to me, won the award. So, everybody has their own version of the truth, right? Conservatives, liberals, everybody's got sort of their own beliefs. Beliefs become agendas. Agendas become seeking things that align with how you want the world to be. We all get it. We all have our own versions of the truth. Aaron Rodgers, though, as he's gotten richer, he's gotten a little fuzzier with the truth. He said he was surprised when he came out of the darkness retreat that the Packers, moved off him. Well, we find out now from Brian Gutekunst, who does not have a history of fibbing about his vaccine or manipulating the media or demanding transparency but not being transparent. He doesn't have that history. You look at Aaron's resume and Brian Gutekunst's resume, Aaron's gotten real fuzzy with the truth. You have a right to do that. But I have a right to call you out when it appears once again Aaron's surprise was no real surprise at all because the Packers couldn't get a hold of him, and they tried multiple times in the offseason. Okay, so he was a little fuzzy about his vaccination status. You don't care about that based on which way you land on vaccines, right? The people anti-vaccines cheer him, and the people like me who think you should help other people beyond yourself and get a vaccine don't need necessarily 10 booster shots. I think he was fuzzy. There's also the I didn't do that list for the Packers. Yeah, they signed Alan Lazard. There's a reason you wanted Alan Lazard to the Jets. There's also the all I want is transparency quote a couple of weeks ago, despite the fact I have had a Green Bay Packer, a current player, in the last 2 weeks say, Aaron is never transparent. Weekly, monthly, in season, out of season. He's never transparent. He leaves everybody guessing. But again, everybody has versions of the truth. Aaron's gotten a little fuzzy with his over time. It's not the end of the world. But what is this delusion, which I keep pointing to. He ghosts people who don't agree with him. He is surrounded by yes men and people who agree with him. He's not married, no kids. His friends, it's a small circle. And if you're going to push back on Aaron, you're not going to be hanging with Aaron. So he wants us to believe now that he's supposed to be surprised that an organization that tried multiple times, an employer to contact him, big decisions coming up, and couldn't get him directly, couldn't get him through his representatives. He wants us to believe he's surprised. That, again, is fuzzy. That is delusion. If you had friends who called you out, didn't surround yourself with those that just agree with you, somebody would have said, dude, it's been 8 weeks. You may want to get a hold of your employer. I saw another quote this morning. This comes from Zach Gelb, a reporter. He was told that Aaron and his coach, Matt LaFleur, had game plan meetings to give Rodgers more say. Remember, Aaron wants more say. Sometimes Aaron would show up. Other times, he would leave Matt LaFleur sitting there and never gave a reason why. Once again, Aaron's on his own timeline. Aaron has his own version of the truth. Aaron is surprised when he absolutely shouldn't be, because none of us would be if we left our employer hanging for 8 weeks. I don't want to hear about this, it just came out of left field. Now I guess I'm a Jet. Again, I understand it. We all see the world through our lens. We're all a little more important to ourselves than we are to other people. You have a right to be upset that your Green Bay career is over, right? But own some of it. They're called mirrors. Every bathroom has one. Stare at it occasionally, and I don't want to hear you're surprised. That is absolute bull and nonsense. You know it, and I know it. You made yourself unavailable, and if you do, even as a highly compensated, very talented employee, employers will eventually move off you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.